Aquarians, so let's see what September brings for us. You know that I'm doing this under 10 minutes because of new YouTube algorithm. They're like messing with my subscriber count. It is just nightmare. For me, it's going on for 3 years. And frankly, it's making me really nervous if I should even continue on this platform. It almost feels like being in the rat race in a rat cage and spinning my wheel, getting nowhere. But at the same time, I'm really committed to you, even though I know that sometimes you're not going to even get this because they unsubscribe you for some reason. So you need to check this. If you're back, you need to check this. If you're new, just make sure you subscribe because some messages might be coming through for you, not all. This is a general reading after all. So make sure you check your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant in order to get a little bit more out of it, right? So let's start, guys. Let's see what's happening. We have Earth Tome reversed, and to me this card is always about Aquarians. Let me see which one is the first major. Is the Emperor reversed. Maybe a friend betrayed us, because to me this is ultimately a card of friendship and card of caring for someone. And we maybe sometimes are not the best in caring one-on-one, but we kind of really have special place in our life for our friends, and kind of for the big ideas, for everything that we want. Not necessarily that all our friends can handle our big ideas and can handle what we want for them, and sometimes strife happens, but this really tells me that something is moving really, really slow. That there was maybe some kind of idea or some kind of process that has been happening, but it got stalled for one reason or another. And we have here a sea kitten. I was looking, how many more reversals are we going to get? So far so good. That's it. Sea kitten is that there's something not progressing. Maybe it's not progressing because of this hesitation. Maybe we are not ready for a relationship. Maybe we want something but somebody else is not ready. Somebody's saying maybe they would prefer to be friends with us and kind of use that quality that we have. And maybe you're saying we really don't want to be collector of friends because after a while it becomes exhausting. So let's see where this leads us. And this is crossed with Earth Kitten. Sea Kitten and Earth Kitten. Earth and water kind of nourish each other. And this is about kind of checking people who are very, very different from us, right? So maybe we get somebody who rejects us, but we meet somebody else who is very, very different from who we are and how we kind of see things and how we kind of portray things, right? But this is really still talking about that very young phase, very kind of seeding phase, right? You're putting the sod down, you still don't know if the grass is going to grow out. So it's also the most interesting phase in all. So it's happening based on something that we have learned, because this is Earth Kitten, this is Earth Thumb. Just because something did not work out in the past, it doesn't mean it's not going to work in the future. And no, I'm not talking about just keep repeating the same thing over and over to get and hope to get different results. No, I'm saying different people can have different results, but we need to react differently as well in the situations. So we have here Three of Earth, and this is talking about teamwork. This is kind of understanding big picture. It's understanding what we are getting ourselves ready for. It's ultimately training. It's ultimately being informed. It's ultimately getting other people to help us, whether this is advice or strategy or approach. This is kind of what it's talking about. And look at this Earth and Earth and Earth. This is Virgo transit after all. So since that many kind of cards are coming in Earth, it's really talking also that we need to really focus on organizing our life, what we want. Clean your closets, clean your fridge. Our brain is going to start working better, right? I think it's going to be a little bit greater diplomacy after this full moon in Pisces. I think full moon in Pisces can bring some emotional onset. It can bring tears, but tears of release, not tears of pain. And the day after is going to feel well, I can reposition myself. I can really rework this, and things can get better, right? So it can actually bring next few following days where we'll be more diplomatic, where we'll be more strategic, and so on and so forth, right? So what we're leaving in the past, and look at this, is more earth, and this is like now Ace of Pentacles reversed. Something just didn't grow. Something that we feel had great potential, it just never created this oak. It just like stayed a seed, and it just like lay down and rest. Maybe, you know, the soil was sand and it couldn't work. Maybe it was just growing hollow and it just collapsed. But it looks like it got to a certain point. It got very far. It got maybe too far. And I really think that was the problem, because I also feel that something that he's here bringing from the past as something that will be happening this month is kind of like resonating with something that we really felt we need to do it, quote unquote, right. It's not our typical Aquarian fashion, let's be butterfly, let's be easy, and who cares, them tomorrow. No, this was like building one block after another, and it just looks like fizzled away. But it's coming back and saying, you want to restructure this, you want to fix it, right? It's coming back. It's weird because it's kind of like based on some kind of like rejection over here. So Ten of Fire reversed. Maybe something, there's some kind of reveal, and this reveal can also happen about, you know, like September 6th, which is going to be just the days after this emotional meltdown, and some secrets could be coming out, could be some kind of like clashing kind of like attitudes, and people really needed to talk their little heart out and what really bothers them. It's really interesting because these ones are about this like new cycle, starting a new thing, but like this is really being energized. This is really feeling kind of like moving forward, but moving forward based on things that we have already learned and absorbed, and that's really, really important, right? And there it is. So this is the Ten of Fire, this is One of Fire, right? It's almost like the same kind of like flavor, right? So here it is, everything is sparking, and there are like many new possibilities, maybe new beginnings. Everything is coming out in the open. But here it tells me this is this new beginning, also starting out from the past, but since it's reversed, it really isn't. So we are not willing to repeat things. That's what it tells me. We are intrigued, we are interested, but we don't really want to go down the same path. We don't mind certain elements that kind of like worked properly being repeated, but we don't want the same ending. It was a lots of effort. We put lots of heart and lots of work and lots of things that for us to kind of like observe it, how our best quality maybe has been used against us, our friendship, our willingness to be there for the other people. It could have been devastating for some of us, right? Because we just don't have usually that amount of focus and that amount going that direction. So it could be like with this kind of like stuff that somebody from the past, that somebody is maybe knocking back, want to contact us, and we are saying, I don't even know if I really want to answer it. We might be more compelled to deal with them if they just tell us everything that happened. We still might not go for it, but at least we will have a better understanding of if we even could make it happen, if something was even a go, right? You know, this month is going to leave us with a bad taste in mouth. This is kind of like Seven of Swords. And this really talks about betrayal, but it's also talking about claiming what is ours. So who are we? Are we this kitty that is looking all of these birds flying around and being mesmerized? Or are we this bird that is just grabbing? Maybe this was ours in the first place. Maybe it was. Maybe we are saying, you know, you don't need to have it. You'll have the bird and now the little mousey. Maybe we are this kitty who are just maybe hunting for fun. So there are lots of ifs in this card. This is one of those tricky cards, which is like really telling us that we need to x-ray our soul and just really see what's hiding there in those dark corners. Aquarians tend not to really question ourselves too much. because we kind of like move very fast toward the future. But this card is really asking us to look in these dark corners of our soul and disinfect them, because there's like something that is really festering over there, and we will clarify that later. So the environment is Sky Queen, somebody really bitchy, especially it doesn't have necessarily gender when I'm doing a generic reading, but be very careful. Somebody might be feeling very unfair. Somebody might be coming across very unfair. Maybe we feel, as I said, checking out these dark corners and saying, in the circumstances, that's the best I could have done. But here is maybe just this understanding, look, this was never a go, because it was always a setup against me. I thought we are kind of like working together toward the goal, but instead you were just working on your own selfish needs, right? That's kind of like what Sky Queen can talk about. Somebody is in a really, really situation. Somebody's going to be seen for what they are in a really, really bad light. Let me put it this way. So then we have hopes and fears, and there's a Nine of Sky. Oh my goodness, like this month is going to be a lots of releases, and it's going to be really, really crucial for us. Like, I mean, look at, there's a ones and there are nines. There is like a need to let go certain things, and that's what I said. The beginning of the month can be that emotional kind of like thing, but also I really feel we also have like Mars retrograde in Aries. That's going to create some kind of like slowdown and more kind of like pulling into this inner world. But toward the 22nd, which is a fall equinox, we are entering Libra. This is our sister sign. I really think we are going to be starting to spend more time into self-questioning, kind of like what's going on, how certain things are going on, etc. Nine of Sky to me like wash machine brain, where we keep spinning the same freaking story, the same cycle, blah 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 blah. Like, it's time to ask yourself, when we are going to stop believing this old story? When is this going to end? Why does that matter? Okay, so even if we were 100% right and they were 100% wrong, who cares? It is what it is. We need to move forward, and it's going to be something like that is really going to be coming to us, excuse me, through the circumstances from the other people who are maybe not that nice toward us, and we're expecting difference. So it's going to be, okay, wait a minute, I simply cannot win with certain people. People are people, and if there is not a good fit, I just need to walk away, because we are trying to always renovate. We are always trying to help and increase this relationship and kind of like work and step in, but we're going to learn this month this is not always possible. I love this ending. When the story doesn't go well, when you go and meet this big wolf, and this, you're asking, oh grandma, why do you have such a big eyes and big teeth? And the wolf eats you alive. But then it doesn't. Then in the last moment, these nightmares and everything that we have makes us realize that, you know what, it is inside of me. What I need to do is look my own attitude, look something that moves me forward, and then the solution happens. Somebody just shows up, somebody with whom you're on the same page, somebody with whom you really enjoy doing things. And there is like the soulmate card. It's literally being born out of ashes over here. When we really are going to think that nothing can happen, that we are almost giving up, we are isolating ourselves, we are like resentful, and then one day almost like this break is going to happen. You know what they call it? Camel that broke the straw that broke camel's back, which was just that one extra, just like everything collapsed. I really feel to some extent we are going to have this kind of collapse, but keep going. The stranger, who is very different, could be different race, could be different culture, could be very different attitudes in life, but that stranger is going to be so interesting that is going to be making a really, really good coupling for us, and it's going to be really giving us back faith in life and everything that we can do. So this is a really kind of like one of those heavy noir stories that actually really end well. So keep brave, keep being pioneer, keep plowing through the month. Look in yourself, look in the things that you can do better, and allow other people to be here for you and with us, because things will happen and things will get much better, extremely better by the time that we enter Libra season. Also Mercury will enter Scorpio. All of these nightmares all of a sudden will just simply fade away, and we will have almost like a clear opening to explore, enjoy, and to celebrate. So maybe it's a time to shed this old skin in order to celebrate. So just look forward to that, and miracle will happen. I love you, my dear Aqua, and let me know what's going on. All the best.